Good morning and welcome to Chamber Chat with Peoria Life. I am Kelly Donnelly, Director of Membership Engagement with the Peoria Area Chamber of Commerce. And with me this morning is Robin Dirtle with Kona Ice. Thank you for being with us this morning.
Well, thanks for having me. Good
We're
morning.
very excited to hear about Kona Ice. I'm sure most of us have seen this truck out and about at events or somewhere in the neighborhood. Can you please tell us a little bit about the background and a little bit about Kona Ice?
Sure. We brought Kona Ice to Central Illinois in March of 2016. And we started out with one truck. That's typically what they suggest to kind of get your feet wet. We started out with one truck, and we were going to kind of do it as a side job, a little side hustle kind of thing.
Right.
And it quickly grew into something a little bit larger than a side hustle, which I guess everybody may want that to happen eventually with their side gigs, but
Right.
it turned into something a little bit larger. We currently are at two trucks. We have two what we call the minis.
Okay.
Those are actually indoor units. Those can be inside schools, inside
Oh, fantastic.
arenas. So in a climate like this, what we're kind of experiencing now, the mini keeps us a little bit more busy than just sitting around in the wintertime.
Right.
But like I said, we started in March of 2016. In a year, in 2 years, coming up on 2 years, we have two trucks, two minis, and right now we're currently holding at that number of equipment. So we won't
Okay.
be going any further until we kind of maximize the market in this area. But
Right.
we cover most of Peoria and East Peoria. We have Morton territory, and we have quite a bit of it. Kona's a franchise, so you buy the zip codes, and that's what we've purchased in this area. We kind of did a lot of research on the marketing in this area, and
Yeah.
kind of picked the zip codes that were prime for us.
Okay.
And that's kind of how it all started.
Perfect. Well, now the minis, I have not seen one of these yet, but I love the look of it. This looks fantastic. I like it with all the kids. I think that's a great idea for, as I see here, doing ball games, especially ball games and school dances, conventions. As Peoria, have you guys had an opportunity to do
Yes.
some of the conventions in town?
Yes, we have with the mini. We've targeted a lot of like some schools have us on monthly Kona days.
Oh,
So
really? That's
we'll
fantastic.
yes, because we are a fundraiser for the schools. Any school that we go into, we do what we call a give back,
Okay.
and we do this nationwide. And it's 20% of the gross sales go back to the school.
Oh,
So if the
that's
PTA,
lovely.
if the PTA invites us, then 20% goes back to the PTA. If the principals invite us, then 20% goes into the principals. Principals usually have a fund that they like to spend, some of their projects that pop up throughout the year.
Right.
That helps fund those. Um, we haven't had of we haven't we have used that for some areas where the truck just won't fit. Like
Okay.
we've done a corporate event at the Peoria Country Club where we had to go back around the back of and be in a pool area.
Oh, sure.
We have served corporate events where we have been brought inside. We've been into nursing homes.
Okay.
We've been into some retirement facilities in the Morton area and some in Peoria as well.
Yeah.
So all of the mini does have many uses. I mean, it can fit inside. Obviously, it can fit inside a 36-inch door.
Right.
As long as we don't have any steps to try to go down. Right. We're good. So we have the whole year covered in Central Illinois. So
Yeah.
it just expands our options with the truck is large. It's got about a 12-foot clearance on the ceiling too. So
Okay.
we can't fit that even into a normal garage area. So
Right.
the mini does expand that for us.
Well, and that's great because even though it's cold outside right now, I could still go for some flavored ice.
Yes.
So I'm
Yes.
disappointed that that's not what we're going to have right now.
I know. I apologize. I should have brought some full.
But can I see one of the cups?
Sure.
So these are the ever popular. I'm sure most of us have the color changing cups, correct?
Yes.
And you guys can now do corporate logos on them, correct?
We can do pretty much anything. Like this one right here is just it's a simple happy birthday for we do a lot of kids' birthday parties.
Oh, sure.
And so we'll probably offer these as usually when we do a birthday party, the birthday child gets a special color changing cup. So we'll probably have an inventory of those to give specially to that child.
Yeah.
But corporate, when we first got into Kona Ice, we obviously thought our target market would be children, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Children
Yeah.
on hot days and
Right.
stuff like that. So we that's what we marketed to. But slowly we found out that adults love Kona Ice as well. So
Well, yes.
what
What's
we've
not to love?
yes, yes. So we've really expanded into the corporate market. We've seen stuff, and really it's been kind of dictated by the corporate market, what they've asked us to do. I mean, we've been sent around to dentist offices from an orthodontist that we serve the staff for their referrals.
Oh, okay. Fantastic.
We've been hired by pharmaceutical reps to serve pretty much, they go serve the dentists,
Yeah.
doctors who are,
Doctors, dentists,
right,
offices.
who are, prescribing. And we've been to, as we mentioned before, employee appreciation events. We've been to corporate picnics.
Yeah.
We've been to, oh, let me see what else we've been to. Just random days of just quick chill out days,
Yeah.
and we actually one of my favorite stories is we are pretty much on call for a power plant in Pekin that the temperatures typically reach around 130 degrees inside the building.
Oh, wow.
So whenever it gets those days, and she'll kind of watch the weather,
Yeah.
and she'll email me and say, "Hey, how about Thursday?"
Yeah.
So
You
we
bring the
come out
truck
and
out.
serve all the people who are who are doing a good job inside that temperature. So
That's I think a great point for those employers that have maybe the factories or your mechanics or your people that work in those hotter conditions, especially during the summer.
yes,
I think that's a great employee incentive. We know you're working in these hot conditions.
yes,
Come outside and have some frozen flavored ice,
that's right.
which
That's
is
right.
fantastic. I know I've also seen you guys at some of the local community fundraisers,
Yes,
which are, I mean, like you said, are usually geared towards, there's usually mostly adults at those, and I always see a line because I'm always in line trying to get some, and you can't beat it. I think that's a great
yes,
idea.
yes. We Kona is huge. When my husband and I were investigating different franchises and stuff to look at, the big draw for us was Kona Ice's 20% give back,
Okay.
and that's nationwide. We're the Kona right now as a company has given back over 50 million to schools. St. Jude, we're always asked to do St. Jude fundraisers.
Sure.
Organizations, any nonprofit organizations, even some private schools, any of those,
Right.
we do a 20% give back. And how that works is we get invited to an event,
Hmm.
and if the event garners more than $200, which it doesn't take very long if you have a hot crowd that's that's
Right.
that's ready, that doesn't take too long to meet.
Yeah.
We write a check for 20% of the gross sales right back to the organization, the fundraiser, whatever we're trying to raise money for.
Okay, so that's fantastic. So you can do that for any charitable event or organization that's maybe looking to um, have you guys at their fundraiser.
Right,
Okay,
right,
that's fantastic.
yes.
So you guys, I'm impressed with the mini, and I am sad to say that I have not seen it somewhere yet. I mean, granted, doing them in schools, which obviously makes a ton of sense.
Yes.
I think this is a great way to expand. So how can we find the truck if we're looking for the truck?
That is the biggest question I've had from people usually when it's hot, right?
Yeah.
Everyone asks me, do I have a brick and mortar store? Do I have
Right.
a
Or is the truck ever
is the
just
truck
out and about, or like how does that,
uh,
or do you guys have it set up at all with any like organizations where they're outside and like you guys can post like, hey, we're gonna be here,
yes, yes.
come find us.
We do have a Facebook page. It's Kona Ice of Peoria,
Okay.
and that will typically anytime we do neighborhoods, which neighborhoods are our backup plan.
Sure.
So we don't typically plan for neighborhoods. We're probably with two trucks now. We're going to get a little bit more strategic in hitting maybe a certain area on certain days because that seems to be more effective. People know, no, you're never going to find anybody home on a Friday.
Right.
So usually like Monday through Wednesday,
Yeah.
you can find the families who are, just wanting to get get ready for the week
Right.
on those days. So we're probably going to get a little more strategic on it. But we do have a website, and we will post when we're out in the neighborhoods, and we even post when we're if we're getting ready to go to a fundraiser.
Yeah.
We'll definitely post where we're going to be.
Okay.
And if you're in the area, if you don't need a ticket, people can just come in and enjoy, and all that goes right back to the fundraiser as well. So
Oh, that's great.
People
So,
follow us on Facebook quite often. We actually just last year started an app that we use, and we're able to track because in Washington we have quite a following in Washington
oh,
neighborhoods. So
fantastic.
yeah, so what we've done is we inadvertently frustrated people when they couldn't find us, right? So
Sure.
we definitely didn't want to tease any customers and
Right.
say, "Hey, we're in Washington, come find us." But
Yeah.
so we put a tracker on the phone that the phones travel with the trucks because we run Square, so we take credit cards.
Oh, sure.
And so there's a tracker on the phone which will tell you where the truck is.
Oh,
So
okay.
we don't have that turned on all the time because
Right.
obviously we're at private events. We don't necessarily want people coming up
Right.
to the truck during those times. But we do have a tracker app, and we can say, "Hey, we're in Washington right now. If you'd like, click on the link, and they can pretty much find us
Find where your
down to the
location is
address where
at.
we're at." Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Well, I mean, obviously, that's a great avenue, especially as we start getting out of these colder months and
yes,
into the hot season again.
yes,
Finding you guys in the neighborhood, I think that's a fantastic feature.
yes,
So I know
yes.
we're always looking and we get excited every time we see the truck parked somewhere.
Good, good. A lot of people get excited about the truck being parked. Another thing, I know we didn't touch too much on this, but we're Smart Snack approved for
Oh, okay.
schools. So what that means is, and I'm not quite sure with the current administration where that is going to go because it
Yeah.
was really kind of like a Michelle Obama
Sure.
thing that's what people tend to call it. But
Yeah.
what we've done is we have Kona offers 3 different bases
Okay.
to the syrup.
Yeah.
The first base is just a classic, which is always pure cane sugar. We
Right.
don't use beet sugar. The second is what they call VitaBlend, which
Okay.
used to be approved, Smart
Right.
Snack approved, but they changed those rules last summer, and so that VitaBlend is made from a stevia mix
Okay.
and a pure cane sugar again,
Okay.
and then we have what is now approved, Smart Snack approved, which is called Fruit First.
Okay.
So our truck never operates on pure cane sugar. We're always VitaBlend or Fruit First.
Okay.
But VitaBlend we run that all summer long. So it's got significantly less calories. I believe it's 40% less calories than a pure cane sugar.
Perfect. So
Kona.
is that predominantly, I'm sure, what you guys use when you're in schools and
Yes.
things like that?
Yeah, that's what we use when we're in school. It doesn't matter sometimes. What the Smart Snack rules is during school time.
Right.
So if we come to a chili supper or
Yeah.
it's not necessarily regulated
Right.
for that, or if we're going to tournaments after school or things like that, it's
Yeah.
not necessarily regulated. But during the school day, we try to focus on that Fruit First to keep within regulations.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's an interesting feature. I don't know that. I don't know that I would have necessarily thought of having those kinds of features available, like the smart snack feature, or things that take away from some of the sugar that we know can be in some of those syrups.
Yes.
So if like we're booking a corporate party, I don't know if you've had it asked, but is that something that you can request? Like we prefer if we had the smart snack or the Fruit First.
Yes, yes. We just recently did an event last summer for the American Heart Association.
Okay.
And she randomly asked, can you turn your truck sugar free? Which is another option that we have too.
Okay.
We have the ability to turn, and we always usually carry two flavors,
Right.
regardless of what event we're at. We usually carry 2 flavors that are sugar free.
Okay.
And so what we've tried to do with that is to serve every child, right?
Right.
So if you get somebody who is diabetic, or
Sure.
they're allergic to red coloring,
yeah.
we obviously have different options just on the flavor wave itself. We have a pina colada that doesn't have any dye in it.
Okay.
So we always like to make sure we can serve everybody, especially, I mean, no one wants to tell a child you can't have this,
Right.
but we are we do have dye-free options. We're peanut-free, we're gluten-free, we're dairy-free. So usually every kid we can hit. But back to the American Heart Association, we turned the whole truck, sorry,
No, you're fine.
we turned the whole truck sugar-free.
Okay.
So we served it all with stevia. There's no equal or product like that
Yeah.
that has aspartame. So
Well, perfect. Well,
Yeah.
thank you, and I appreciate you joining us this
Yes, well, thank you.
morning. Thank you
very
so much.
All right, sorry. I ran.
PeoriaLife.com.